Hello, I'm David Harper with the BBC News. Two more members of the pro-Trump Proud Boys militia have received lengthy prison terms over the insurrection at the US Capitol in January 2021. Ethan Nordine expressed some contrition and regret before his sentencing. As Dominic Petzola left the court, he clenched his fist and shouted, "Trump won." Wera Davis reports from Washington.
The Proud Boys saw themselves as Donald Trump's foot soldiers and were among the first to march on the US Capitol on January the 6th. In the aftermath of the 2020 election, which they and others believed had been stolen. Dominic Petzola was the third member of the Proud Boys to be sentenced this week for his role in the assault. An even longer sentence of 18 years in prison was later handed down to the leader of the Proud Boys chapter in Philadelphia, Ethan Nordine. He'd played a major role in organising the assault on the Capitol and was filmed orchestrating events on a loudspeaker.
Ecuador's National Prison Service says 57 guards and police officers taken hostage on Thursday have been released unharmed. They were being held by inmates in 6 different facilities. This report from our Americas regional editor, Leonardo Rocha.
An official statement says normal activities have been resumed in the 6 facilities, including a young offenders unit which was badly damaged by an arson attack. The government believes the prison riots were coordinated by criminal gangs angry at attempts to curb their power. It's also blamed the gangs for 2 car bombs which went off near police buildings in the capital, Quito. The latest attacks show the increasing power of Ecuador's drug trafficking gangs, who have forged alliances with Mexican cartels and raised fears of further violence ahead of October's presidential election.
Typhoon Saola has made landfall in southern China, having given Hong Kong a glancing blow. Although it has reduced in strength, Saola is bringing fierce winds and heavy rain to Guangdong province, where tens of millions of people are sheltering indoors. Saola has caused extensive disruption to transport, business and education and is likely to bring storm conditions for much of the weekend. The leader of Wednesday's military coup in Gabon has said he will make state institutions more democratic and that their suspension is temporary. Speaking on state television, General Brice Oligui Nguema said he did not want to repeat past mistakes by going to the polls too soon.
Our aim is to move as quickly as possible, quickly but surely. But we don't want to organise elections in a rush, where we'll end up with the same mistakes, where the same people will continue in power. Gabon will respect all its commitments with its national and international partners, as well as all bilateral and multilateral agreements that promote the development of the Gabonese people.
The opposition say the military shows no sign they plan to return power to a civilian government. World News from the BBC. South African police have arrested more than 100 undocumented migrants packed into a house on the outskirts of Johannesburg. They found the 98 Ethiopians and 4 Malawians after a tip-off. The Home Affairs Minister, Aaron Motsoaledi, said some were as young as 10 and needed hospital treatment for malnutrition and dehydration. He said some of the migrants were possibly victims of a people-smuggling syndicate for cheap labour. The Egyptian-born businessman Mohammed Al-Fayed, who once owned Harrods department store and Fulham Football Club in London, has died. He was 94. His eldest son, Dodi, was killed along with Princess Diana in a car crash in Paris 26 years ago. Ukraine has joined Swedish party leaders in condemning the Nobel Foundation's decision to invite the Russian and Belarusian ambassadors to this year's prize ceremony in Stockholm. The Prime Minister, Ulf Kristersson, called the decision astonishing. The foundation said the decision to restore the invites after Russia and Belarus were barred last year was taken to combat polarisation. The head of the Spanish Football Federation has again insisted the kiss he gave a member of the Women's World Cup winning team was consensual. Luis Rubiales has been widely criticised for kissing the player, Jenni Hermoso, on the lips after the final in Australia last month. Guy Hedgecoe reports from Madrid.
Luis Rubiales had kept quiet since making a defiant speech last week in which he refused to resign as Federation president. But in a written statement, he broke his silence, repeating his claim that the kiss he gave Jenni Hermoso was consensual. He also complained that he was being lynched by the media and politicians. Earlier, Spain's Sports Tribunal had opened disciplinary proceedings against him. However, it decided that Mr. Rubiales had not committed an infraction serious enough to allow the government to suspend him as a step towards removing him from his post.
BBC News.